Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Music and Moonsalts. I am your host, Chris Bordine, and joining me today, a familiar face. He can be your liar. He can be your bearer of bad news. It's Brother Kyle.
How's
He
it
won't
going?
go getting tired of you. Kyle, what's
Depends on
up,
the
man?
situation. Oh, not much. Just chilling.
Yeah.
Nice
Chilling
day
on
off
us?
of work.
Well, you're lucky.
Yeah.
I did not, and yeah, today
Hey.
sucked. But
I only get 4 days off a month, okay? So you can suck it.
well, okay, all right, fair. But everything's all better now because I got my brother on, and we're gonna talk about one of our other favorite bands. Beside, he was on earlier this year. We talked Kiss, and we're talking our other favorite band, the Foo Fighters. So
The only band out of the two that I have a tattoo of.
there you go.
Hopefully that'll change at some point.
Maybe. Yeah. So it is, believe it or not. And this is one where I really remember, it's really hard for me to think that it's 20 years that this album has been out. The One by One album is 20 years old in the month of October 22nd to be exact. And it feels like not yesterday. That's very cliche, but it definitely feels like it was 10 years ago, not 20, when All My Life and Times Like These was on the hitting the radio for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually this is the third Foo Fighters album I ever bought. Because I started out, I bought Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace, and then I went and bought The Color and the Shape, and then I went, if you remember, in the Adrian Mall there was that used video game store, and they also sold movies and
There was
CDs.
a couple.
Yeah. This is the one that was down by Garfield's in the old Walden Books.
Okay, yep.
And I actually still have it. It actually was the deluxe edition, so the cover's different. It's black instead of white, and it's got a DVD with some stuff on it. I think it has the two videos and a couple other things too. I don't remember. That's the reason why I kept the case, because this actual CD was the victim of the great car break-in at someone's house.
Is it breaking in if it's not locked?
Well, whatever. But I did go and repurchase it on vinyl too. So
Beautiful.
And the funny thing, I just noticed this today on this. I don't know if I can get it close enough where people can see it, but if you look, all the song titles that are more than one word, there's a period between each word. I don't know what that's all about, because on the CD it is definitely not like that. So it's kind of weird. Kind of weird thing I noticed just today, but maybe a glitch at the printing factory, or who knows. But yeah, this is an album that I don't remember exactly. I was gonna go back and watch our a couple, maybe about and it's hard to believe I've been doing this show for 2 years already, but
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, one of the first few months of doing the show, I had you and our friend Logan on.
Yes.
And we did this thing where we ranked all the Foo Fighters studio albums up to that point. This is pre-Medicine at Midnight. Judging by how many songs on each album we would skip, and obviously the albums with the least skipped songs ranked higher. And I know this one was really, it was like second or third on. It was really high on mine. I don't think it was quite as high on yours. But this is probably my third favorite Foo Fighters album, and I think it's their most underrated album.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Because
that's a good assessment.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the two songs obviously that are mega hits. concert staples and whatnot. But
Mhm.
a lot of the other stuff, doesn't get played a lot. And so I think that plays a part into it. I think other than maybe the first album, I think it's, well, even the first album though, they play, they rotate probably like 3 or 4 songs off the first album in and out, or obviously they did before
Yeah.
before Taylor, but this one, like, I mean, on the tour cycle, obviously they played a lot more for this album, from what I've seen, but as far as like recent years, it's pretty much just the two songs. So
It's a lot of great songs on this album, though. Like,
yes, there is, and we will dive into that. But this is the album that almost broke the band up.
yes.
There's a lot going on. So they released. This is the follow up to "There's Nothing Left to Lose," which came out in 1999. Chris Shiflett is now in the band as the second guitar player. And now we're like, from here on out, this is the lineup of the Foo Fighters. No one's leaving. We're just gonna start adding people. Pat's gonna
As
come
many
back,
people as we can.
and then they officially add Rami. So like, they're up to like 6 guys there.
And now they have 3 backup singers.
Yeah, and then they had a bunch of backup singers too. So, it was quite the collection after a while. But we seem to be solidified. But then, Dave starts writing a lot of the stuff, on tour, on that tour. So around like 2000, he's got all the songs. They go in, they cut some demos at Taylor's house. They go on a European tour, and that's where Taylor has his OD. And then they come back after that, and things just aren't clicking. They record all these tracks, and they call them the $1 million demos, because they record all these tracks and they're listening to the mixes, and it's just not sounding right. It's not sounding like what they want it to, and they decide, we're gonna take a break. Dave goes and starts like joins Queens of the Stone Age and plays drums on the Songs for the Deaf album and stuff like that, and that leads to some hurt feelings between him and Taylor, and it's all a mess. And they're on the verge of breakup until Coachella in 2001. There's like their last scheduled show, and they're like, all right, well, we're going to play this show, and whatever happens, happens. And lo and behold, they play the show, and they're like, oh, like, we really like playing together still. So then they go back to Virginia, to Dave's house in Virginia, and they bring along Nick Raskulinecz to help produce, and they knock it out. And there's a quote on the Back and Forth documentary, and I can't remember the exact quote, but Dave basically goes, the difference between All My Life and All My Life is this one cost $1 million and sounded like crap, and this one cost a fraction of that and is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, essentially, this one cost $1 million. This one we recorded in our basement, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I still want to hear. I still hope at some point they do, like, I don't know, like a Kiss box, like Kiss did with the box set or whatever.
Yeah.
And like release those versions.
Yeah, like Kiss is doing with, they did Destroyer last year. They're doing Creatures this year with the, the super deluxe.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff, I guess, is online if you know where to look, if you know what you're looking for. But yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be cool just to kind of, see for ourselves kind of what they were what they thought, and stuff like that. But all in all, I think things turned out great.
Yeah.
So what else? Before we go dive into each song, what else is there? What else do you have to add to that?
I mean, Not much. I mean, I didn't much like you, I didn't really I think I vaguely remember hearing All My Life on the radio um around this time, and it probably was just riding in the car with you, or something. But because I didn't really get into the Foo Fighters all that much until after Echoes.
Mm-hmm.
Like you started getting into Foo Fighters, and then I was like, oh crap, this band is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, type of deal. But I think, looking back, Echoes, or not Echoes, Color and the Shape is my favorite Foo Fighters album. But I think this is a close second.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I have this third. It's actually it goes Wasting Light, There's Nothing Left to Lose, and then this one. And then Color in the Shape is after that, and it's real close, but I think I like a lot more the deeper cuts on this album than I do some of the ones on Color in the Shape, but they're both great. So, this is a definitely like probably their heaviest sounding record.
Yeah.
Especially when you compare it to the one that came right. There's Nothing Left to Lose. That album is very 70s AOR style. They're really in their Cheap Trick bag, I think, a lot on that on that record. And this is more. This is the most metal I think they've gotten.
Yeah.
With aside from the Death Widow album.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean this is I mean a lot of heavy distortion, obviously a couple drop tuning songs as well, but yeah, it's very aggressive, but it still has the melody and the harmonies that you come to expect from the Foo Fighters as well.
Yeah.
So, all right. So yeah, album kicks off with a banger, All My Life. This is, and that's the other thing. The two songs on this album are quite possibly my two favorite Foo Fighter songs ever. Like,
definitely the second. I mean, this one's a good one, but I've got plenty of other Foo Fighter songs that I like more than this one.
Yeah, but this is I remember the video for this song actually, because we had just moved in 2001 to the house that mom and dad are in now, and we had got the satellite, and I was watching a lot of VH1, and I think we even had like Much Music out of Canada too on the satellite. And I remember this video getting played quite a bit, and it's not the the campy like the Learn to Fly video or anything like that, but it's a cool them playing in an empty arena. The beginning of the song, the dun 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 dun, dun is them walking backstage to the stage. He's got that cool clear guitar.
Yep.
Just a really great video and just a really great song. Again, going back to the documentary, I think it's Chris who says, like, they could be having the worst show possible, but as soon as they get to the point in the set where All My Life comes in, it instantly turns into a great show.
I remember Dad on multiple occasions wanting to cover this song.
Yeah, that would have been hard.
Would have been hard, and I kept on being like, have you read the lyrics?
Yes.
You sure you want us to play to play this song?
So I found fooarchive.com, and they've got like a track by track in Dave's own words about the songs on this album. And he says it's one of the most aggressive songs we've ever written. It's kind of dark and dissonant, but really in your face. And then he goes, that song is a little dirty. Use your imagination. Yeah, I didn't realize until I read a this
Mm-hmm.
this biography, this Dave Grohl biography that it's it's about yeah, having well, it's about pleasing a lady. We'll just leave it at that.
Yep. We'll keep it as PG as we can.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, I was like, huh, that's what that song is about. Okay. Fair enough. But yeah, aside from that, the screaming, I don't think any of us would have been able to do that. And
no,
but yeah, it's just a great song. Like I said, it's in the conversation for my favorite. So
I hope that's like the first Foo Fighters song that Kingston starts singing.
yeah, I think we're a long way from him singing.
Well, yeah,
but he's definitely jammed air guitar to this one before. So that brings us to the second song on the album, Low. And let me tell you, I was bummed that they didn't live stream this LA Taylor concert. And I'm hoping it gets put on Paramount Plus or whatever soon. Hopefully by the time you guys are seeing this, it's available for us to watch. But when I found the set list the next morning and was looking through it and saw that they played Low.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yes, they play Low with is it Matt Cameron? From Soundgarden and Pearl Jam. I think that's his name. But anyways, yeah, they play Low on at the second Taylor gig, and I about crapped my pants. And I found a video on YouTube, and I'm like, yes, this song rules.
It's a definite, like, All My Life is very in your face, and
yeah,
and then like Low, just that opening groove and drum beat and everything is just very
Taylor
much like,
is a monster on this song.
Yeah,
he is a monster. He is a machine during this song. Yeah. Just like I said, very heavy, very like you said, in your face, and yeah, the drums are crazy. And Dave says it's another really aggressive song. It sounds like a machine roaring. It's pretty amazing. The lyrics are kind of sultry. It's about two people getting together because they realize they have more fun effing each other than anyone else. It's kind of deep. Some of it reminds me of older Soundgarden, and some of it reminds me of weird Black Flag. It's unlike anything we've ever done. So
there's a theme for the first two songs.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it's very a lot of it is, so he was meeting his now wife during this time, and so there's there's a lot of that, a lot of romance on this record.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Low. And then the third track is Have It All. And this is the ones I was talking about this with Joel on the last episode about the Billy Joel album. There are certain songs where if I hear when I hear the intro, like I instinctively, like I'm like, not really feeling it. But if I can get past that part,
yeah,
the song is actually really good. And that's how I feel about Have It All. The na 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 at the beginning, I'm like, and then it gets past that, and then the song is actually pretty good. And then at the end, I love how it's just like, again, Taylor gets to shine at the end, and it just builds and builds and builds until it just ends. So
yeah, I'm the same with that intro. In fact, I think couple years ago when we did that,
Mm-hmm.
ranking video or whatever that we did. When I went back and re-listened to this album, then um I had that gut instinct of like and then so I think that's one of the ones that
Might have it said that you skipped.
yeah, in fact, let me
Oh, Kyle's he still got his list. How about that?
I do. In fact, it is. That's one of the ones. That's one of I skipped two songs on this.
Okay.
I have up on this list. And that was one of them. And it's all because of that intro. Like if it's not for that intro, I don't I wouldn't have skipped it.
Okay. Yeah. So this one ended up first on that ranking because this was the only one that I had 0 skips on.
Oh, all right.
So, yeah. And again, Dave says this is basically just a song with a cool up tempo groove, and the chorus blows up into these really big and sweeping 3-part harmonies. And that's kind of what I was talking about before, where it's very hard and heavy, but then it's still got the, again, that 70s classic rock,
Mm-hmm.
stuff mixed in. Um, and then he says the end starts exploding until it's so effing chaotic, and then it just stops on a dime. So,
Yeah.
and
So
then we get the other big song, Times Like These. We have covered this song both
yes.
electrically and acoustically. Um, this is the first.
Have we done this acoustically?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. This is we did. Yeah, definitely did this acoustically.
I mean, we've been playing together for over 20 years, I think, by this point, right?
Yeah.
Almost 20
I
years.
mean, yeah,
So it
give or
all kind
take.
of just melds together and I can never remember. Though the one that sticks out in my mind is when we played this at the center, which I think is the first time we played it live.
Yes, it is the first time we played it. Yeah, that's definitely the first time we played it. Because that was right after we had seen them on the Sonic Highways tour.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the week after or something like that.
Yeah.
So we were in the Foo Fighters mood as it was.
Yes.
So, and we thought, like, okay, let's bust this out, and we did,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounded pretty good. You
Yeah.
did a really good job
Thank you.
singing it. And this is one of the ones that, it's one of the later songs to come to the record. This is one he actually wrote, Dave wrote during the hiatus. And it's kind of, and it kind of makes sense now. It's kind of about the band, you know, in a
Yeah.
way. So, yeah. Uh, he says, I actually think this is the best song I've ever written. It's very emotive and passionate and universal. So, I agree.
Honestly, if this isn't my absolute favorite Foo Fighters song, it's definitely in the top 3.
Yeah, it's really it's up there for me, and I love this is the first one of the first ones. So I obviously I remember Monkey Wrench and Everlong and My Hero when those came out. And I thought they were fine songs at the time. And then I remember Learn to Fly when that came out, and I thought that was a pretty good song too. But all my life, and to an even greater extent, Times Like These, is when I first was like, okay, this is a good band. And they weren't, obviously, it would be another couple albums before I really got on board.
Mm-hmm.
But this is when I was like, all right, I'm going to start paying attention, because I loved, it's a little thing, but I love how in the second verse, how he changes his inflection on, when he says, I'm a little divided and he kind of raises his voice on Divided
Mm-hmm.
more. And then that Do I Stay and Run Away, or Run Away and Leave It All Behind. Which with that context, yeah, that kind of makes sense that it's about the band a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they were kind of deciding whether they were gonna
Mm-hmm.
stick it out or break up. So, but yeah, it's just a great song.
Yeah. I just everything from the intro,
Mm-hmm.
just which, and I hate when I hear it on the radio because they chop it.
Yeah, oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it is a little bit of a longer intro, but I love every
Mm-hmm.
second of it.
Yeah, that one and All My Life both they always trim
Mm-hmm.
a couple bars out of, and then for some reason this website doesn't have it the track listing in order, because next is Disenchanted Lullaby. This is very it's very trippy,
Mm-hmm.
during the verses, but I love the groove of the choruses. I love what Taylor's doing with the hi-hat,
Mm-hmm.
and just it's just very, boppy, I guess.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, and I love how it's like, no one throws a fit like I do. I'm the only one who fits you. Is just a
Mm-hmm.
great line. So, um,
I I like how you have the verses are very kind of mellow and and everything, and then boom, that chorus hits and it's just very,
yeah,
very heavy.
yes, yeah. I think it's a really great little tune on the album.
All right, over there.
No, I've been fighting allergies and crap for like a week, so
Oh joy.
trying to do my best to not cough on mic. So, yeah, I figured the people would appreciate that. So,
Yeah.
you'll see it if you're watching the video, but you won't hear it if you're just listening to the audio. So, and then one of the songs that's like sneaky up, like as far as the quote unquote other songs on the album, that's not All My Life or Times Like These. This Tired of You is up there. Because I love how simple it is. How it's just him and a guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and then I found out that Brian May is playing the parts during the verses,
Really?
and it makes all the sense once I found that out. It makes all the like that is Brian May, like, to a T. If you go back and listen
Huh.
to it, that harmonizing, like slide guitar part that is going through the chorus, while I won't go getting tired of you. Yeah, that's Brian May. And I'm like,
Huh.
okay, yeah, that makes complete sense. Um,
Interesting.
and it's funny, I didn't, I guess I should do a better job of reading CD booklets and stuff, because it's in here. Like, it doesn't say what song, I don't think, but on this little thing here it says, where did it go? Brian May lent the proceedings a sense of decorum, illustrated beautifully on Tired. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This was the second song that I would skip over
Okay. All right.
when doing the other. But I mean, it's still
Mm-hmm.
in listening to this album again this week, I feel like that's a little,
Harsh.
yeah. Like honestly, listening this week, there isn't any songs on this album that I would
Mm-hmm.
skip.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Maybe you're just in a bad mood when we were preparing for
Yeah,
the
I don't
other one.
know.
But and then we go on to Halo. Again, another great line on this before the right before the choruses is he says, "Guess that I've been blessed, but I'll be damned." And this is like one of the most beautifully sung F-bombs ever. He's just got a. I love when like Wolfie's got one of those on his album, in Resolve. But you know, a lot of times, like if Dave has one, like in Wind Up, he's like screaming it. But on here, it's very beautifully sung, and it's like you almost miss it because it's of how it's sung, and you're like, wait, did he just say that? Oh yeah, he did. So this is it's a little Tom Petty-ish in the beginning.
Yeah.
During the verses and stuff. So, but it's a good song. It's on the low. If I had to pick like a least favorite song on the album, it would probably be this one. But I don't think it's bad by any means. So,
yeah,
that's just like a gun to my head situation. You know. But and then
Lonely as You.
Lonely as You. Oh, this song is so great. I love how the harmonies all throughout the song. It's very like I tried. So before you jumped on, I was trying, kind of messing with it, you know, seeing if I could pick it. It's a very weird like chord progression, like very weird pattern, and it takes a good while to like figure out what it is before you like, and even then it's like, did I have that right? I don't know. But and I love how, you know, the first verse it's you know, the melody and then the lower harmony, and then you get into the second verse and there's a higher harmony too, and it's that 3-part harmony coming back in, and I'm like, oh.
I just love how driving the drum beat is through the verses. Just 4 on the kick.
Yep.
You know, every beat on the kick, and then like he throws in a little open hi-hat in the second half of it, and just and I listening to that song this week, I was like, I want to get my hands on a drum kit. I need to play this song.
Right.
I just haven't been able to.
Yeah. And I love when a guitar solo just mimics the melody line of the song, and they do that here perfectly. It's a really great song. Let's see here. He says it kind of has a mid-tempo beat to it with muted chunky chords, but the vocal melody is really strange. It's kind of our second really weird Sgt. Pepper's heavy metal kind of song. Really bizarre, but really hooky, and then it gets huge at the end, and I'm screaming my effing balls off. Yeah, he is too.
Yeah.
He really goes for it. On the last time through, one more time for the very last time. Yeah. And then Overdrive. Kind of a more of a peppy number than some of the other stuff. A little bit more classic Foo Fighters, I guess you could say. He says this is our one up-tempo punk pop song on the record. The rest of them aren't like that, but it is the one song you'd hear and say, "Oh yeah, dude, that's the Foo Fighters." So, yeah. This one does feel like it could very well, it could have very well fit on the previous album. Like it has that almost like a sister song to Generator in a
Mm-hmm.
way. Um, but yeah, I mean it's just classic Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
So and
Burn Away.
Burn Away. Um, I love how this one starts with the dun 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 dun. Bah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, yeah, it's a cool song. Let's see here. What does Dave say about it? This is one of the more romantic tunes, but with a tuned down guitar riff that's really behind the beat. It's also probably another of the heaviest songs we've ever recorded, although the song itself is basically a love song. So,
Yeah, it's a interesting um I'm losing my words. Just a mixture
mm-hmm,
of, yeah, it's like of how heavy the song is, but like
mm-hmm.
the lyrics behind it and the, and all that are more of like a, like you said, like a love song, like a
Yeah.
romantic song.
Yeah, it's like the guitars are super distorted and whatnot, but the way he sings, especially during the verses, is very sweet and very
Mm-hmm.
subdued almost. So yeah, and then we close out the album with a magnum opus, like an
Mm-hmm.
8-minute song, Come Back. Again, it sounds redundant, but I love this friggin' song so
Mm-hmm.
much. Just especially the pre-chorus, the I've been gone so long, and
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, and I guess this is like he says the middle part was actually like a different song. This is like two songs put together, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It says the verses are really heavy with a tribal beat and fuzzy guitars. And then there's a middle instrumental section that begins with acoustics that build up to electrics, and then the percussion sets in and it turns into an explosion. At 8 minutes is our epic opus. And he says, Comeback is where I'm revealing all these dark, shitty sides of myself, laying out all of my faults. Like, this is how I can be an asshole. These are the things I do to hurt people, or here are the things I do that I wish I didn't. So,
Interesting.
yeah. But it's a great way to close the album. I love the outro. The dun 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 dun.
I love how you think like it ended
Mm-hmm.
and then it just comes back in.
Yeah.
Like, just, yeah, this
Well, yeah. After that,
amazing song.
yeah, that you're talking after that instrumental section,
Yeah.
and how it kind of just stops, and then it
Mhm.
pauses, and then it comes like just hits you right in the face,
Yep.
back to the main, the chorus riff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I wish I could have seen them, and who knows what the future holds, but I wish I would have been able to see them play more songs off this album live, because I think it's, like I said, I think it's their most underrated album. I think,
Yeah.
didn't catch that one. Sorry, people. Everyone, like Color and the Shape. That's the go-to. That's the, if we're gonna continue making the Kiss comp, that's the Destroyer. That's the go-to. Where almost everyone is gonna say that's their favorite album. And then from there, there's I know In Your Honor, a lot of people really like that one. That's not one of my favorites.
I like disc 1.
Right.
Disc 2, not so much.
There's Nothing Left to Lose, is another, Big One, and so on and so forth. And they all have these, Wasting Light was the one, that they recorded on tape,
Mm-hmm.
when everything else was going digitally. And they did the documentary around that, and Echoes is the one where they became the rock band. That's I think that's the album that launched them into superstardom with The
Mm-hmm.
Pretender. And Sonic Highways was the one where they recorded in a bunch of different cities and so on and so forth. And I
Yep.
think this one just kind of gets lost. And So yeah, I was happy to shed some light on it with you today.
Yeah. Love the album. Uh, like you said, I wish they played this stuff more. More than just All My Life in times like these.
Mm-hmm.
If they do in the future, be a little tainted for me. Seeing that Taylor is now gone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I don't know. That's probably for an episode for another day. I'm split. I'm like split down the middle on it. Where if they called it a day, I would completely understand.
mhm.
And but if it was the right person, um, and they decided, they wanted to continue, I would be more than happy to welcome,
Yeah,
be welcoming of that. Because I'm not ready to lose the Foo Fighters. Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
One other interesting speaking of Taylor, this is the first album where Dave plays no drums. Um, so
Really?
obviously he played all the drums on the first album,
Mm-hmm.
and essentially re-recorded a lot of the drums on Color in the Shape, and I don't know um what song specifically, but it sounds like there's a couple songs on There's Nothing Left to Lose where he played some drums too.
Huh.
So yeah, this
I
is
didn't
the first
realize
one
that.
where he was hands off on the drums, where he didn't touch. It was all Taylor on this. So
Nice.
yeah. So um, anything else, Kyle?
No, it's all for me.
All right. Well, yeah. Check this one out, guys.
Yes.
If you haven't heard it before, or if you have, and
Give it a listen again.
yeah, just please revisit it, because I will be honest. Like, I will call myself, for whatever reason, even though, like I said, this is the third album I bought. When I was, really getting it. For the longest time, I didn't give it a like. I thought it was the worst one. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember when the switch flipped, where I'm like, oh, this is actually like an awesome album. And I think it was like I had all the albums on my iPhone, and I was just shuffling, and I'm like, wow, this is a really great song. What album is this from? I don't remember this song. Oh, One by One. Huh. Okay. Make a note of that. A couple songs later, oh, that's a really great song too. Oh, One by One. Oh, okay. And then it's like, well, let me just give this album a try, a second
Mm-hmm.
try. And I'm like, oh, no, this album is great. What the hell was I thinking? So,
Yeah.
um, Kyle, where can people find you?
Um. Well, I stream on Twitch every once in a while. In fact, once I'm done recording this, I think I'm gonna hop on and play some games. Um, Twitch.tv/ Kyler_gaming. And then my Twitter for that as well is Kyler_gaming at Kyler_gaming.
Very simple.
So
You can find
yeah.
me on Twitter at IbanezChris. You can find the audio version of this and the majority of my other podcasts. There's a few that I don't think would translate well, so I didn't do that. But the majority of my podcasts you can find on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And musicandboonsalts.com is your direct link to the YouTube page. So tell your friends, tell them to come on by and hang out with us here and talk some wrestling and some rock and roll and all kinds of good stuff. So and yeah, hit the subscribe button. I do a really bad job of asking people to do that on these videos. I always forget. So please, yes, hit the subscribe button and give it a thumbs up too. And leave a nice comment. I always respond to the comments when I get them. So because I appreciate people taking the time to do that. So yeah. So I think that's it. All right. Kyle, thanks. And until next time, everyone, see ya.